All right, question 9. A parabola has a focus of f -2, -6, and a directrix of x equals -4. P, x, y represents any point on the parabola, while D, -4y represents any point on the directrix. Match each numbered step with the correct step in the process of finding the equation of the parabola using the distance formula. Okay, so remember that the definition of a parabola is having the distance between the focus and any point on the parabola, so that's represented by FP, equaling the distance between the directrix and that same point, and that's represented by DP, the distance of DP. So we're looking for FP equal to DP right there. The distance from the focus to the point is going to equal the distance from the directrix to the point. So again, I'm going to use this symbol lab, and I'm going to type in distance, and we're going to first find the distance of F to P. So the coordinates for F is -2, -6. And the coordinates for P, again, were listed as x, y. And so this shows the distance equation, and then -2 is x1, -6 is y1, x is x2, and y is y2, and that's how they end up with this. So FP, the distance of FP, is equal to that. And so in step 2, I'm going to actually just scroll to see if I can find one that matches that right from the get-go. So the square root of x minus a -2 being squared plus y minus a -6 being squared, that does match. Again, that was the distance for our FP. So now we're going to do the distance for our D to P and see if that matches this right part. So D had the coordinates of -4, y, parentheses, -4, y, parentheses, and P again was x, y. Click go on that, and so -4 again is x1, this y is our y1, this x is our x2, and this y is our y2. So that's how they substituted it in to have this. Again, I'm making sure that this distance formula matches this one that was selected, and it does. So I know that this step is the correct next step. And again, the next easiest way to go from step 2 to step 3 using our technology is also to remember that you square both sides first, and you would end up with, these would reduce down. So you would end up with just what is underneath the square root sign, because they would reduce down. Now I'm going to notice what we're going to be solving for first, because that is important when we type this in, solve for. The way we decide that is we look in here and look for which variable is going to be subtracted out to 0, and it's the other variable we're solving for. So y minus y, that means the y term is going to subtract out, so we are actually solving for x. Again, remember it's the opposite term from which one you have the doubles on. So then solve for x, parentheses x minus, parentheses -2, parentheses, and that's all being squared, plus, parentheses, y minus, parentheses -6, close parentheses, and that's being squared. That's going to equal, parentheses, x minus -4 being squared, plus, parentheses, y minus y being squared. So I just copied what was underneath that square root sign, because the very first step again is to square both sides, and that would reduce that square root sign out. So then I click go, And here we go. So they're going to be changing all of these double negatives to addition signs right here first. And then notice that this y minus y being squared equals 0. So that's how they went to that step. And then this x plus 4 being squared plus 0, it reduces or simplifies to that. So now they're going to expand this left-hand side right here, and I'm going to expand this on the show steps. This first part, x plus 2 being squared, does expand out to be x squared plus 4x plus 4, and here's the explanation of that. Again, a is the very first position in the binomial and b is the second position. So a is x and b is 2, and then you would substitute it in right there. And so we would end up with x squared plus 4x plus 4 for this part. And then this y plus 6 being squared is expanded right here. And again, you can click on the show steps. So I'm going to scroll and I'm going to highlight again. This part is being expanded right here. This first half is right there. This second half is right here. And then together they create this x squared plus 4x plus 4 from right here, plus y squared plus 12y plus 36 from right here, because they expanded both of those. So that's what I'm looking for on this left-hand side. X squared plus 4x plus 4 plus y squared plus 12y plus 36. This is a pretty good option. And then I'm going to verify that this right-hand side really is x squared plus 8x plus 16. And this x plus 4 being squared again is showing up right here from the right-hand side. And it does end up being x squared plus 8x plus 16. So that is the correct step 3. So those are the steps between step 2 and step 3. And then we're going to move on to step 4. And again, I will tell you step 4 ends right here. So we'll step through this right here. It says to subtract y squared plus 12y from both sides. So another way to write this instead of in parentheses like that is just to write it out as minus y squared minus 12y and minus y squared minus 12y. That's the most familiar way. And the reason you do that is y squared minus y squared reduces down to 0. 12y minus 12y reduces down to 0. So those two. And then you would have x squared remaining, 4x remaining, and 40 remaining. And then on this side you have x squared still remaining, you have 8x still remaining, plus 16 still remaining, and then you have no like terms for the negative y squared minus 12y. So you still have negative y squared minus 12y. So now they state to subtract 40 from both sides, and that is because 40 minus 40 reduces down to 0. And then minusing 40 on this side doesn't have any constants to combine with. Actually, you do. You have this plus 16 minus 40, so that reduces down to the negative 24. So then you'd still have x squared brought down plus 4x brought down is equal to this negative y squared minus 12y plus 8x squared plus 8x and minus that 24. So then the next step that they are showing is to subtract that x squared plus 8x from both sides. Again, you can more commonly just write it as minus x squared minus 8x and minus x squared minus 8x. So then x squared minus x squared reduces down to 0. 4x minus 8x reduces down to negative 4x, so that's where that one came from. You still have negative y squared minus 12y minus that 24 because x squared minus x squared is 0, and 8x minus 8x is 0 as well. So again, I will tell you that this step does not have a negative number there, and that's an easy fix. You multiply by -1, and that changes all of these symbols on both sides to a plus. So I'm looking for a 4x plus y squared plus 12y plus 24. So we have a 4x plus y squared plus 12y plus 24. And now the last step, we are going to just do it here. Divide by 4, divide by 4, divide by 4, divide by 4. Again, remember there's an implied 1 there, so that's where this 1/4 comes from. And then 12 divided by 4 is 3, and 24 divided by 4 is 6, and 4 divided by 4 is 1. So you'd end up with x equals 1/4 y squared plus 3y plus 6 equaling x. And that's the steps for this one.